Head to Subway for the tangy new Tuscan Chicken Melt, seasoned chicken, melted cheese, and olive vinaigrette. With 9 grams of fat, it's part of a Subway Fresh Fit meal. A simpler way to enjoy eating better. Hurry in today. Subway. Eat fresh.
All right, she canceled a 3 o'clock massage and a facial to join us on the BS Report. Miss Erin Andrews, what's happening?
Definitely not a massage. That's not going to happen day one here in Omaha.
They don't have an Omaha spa and ranch?
Actually, we found one of my girlfriends that works for ESPN as well that's out here every year with me. We did find a good little place to go that we try to sneak away to, but not day one. That's kind of getting crazy. Don't light your hair on fire, will you?
That's over the top. So why are you in Omaha? Let's start there.
Well, the College World Series.
Oh. When does that start?
I don't really know.
No, I was kidding.
Oh, okay.
Well, some people might be listening and think, why is Erin Andrews in Omaha?
Yeah, every year for the past 5 years at about this time, I'm in Omaha. It's hilarious because I come in with my 2 huge suitcases and my duffel bag and my computer bag, and everybody says the same thing for the past 5 years. Is that all yours? Yes, I'm here for 14 days. Are you kidding?
14 days?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a 2-week stay, man.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not a quick, hop, skip, and a jump. We're here for a while. I actually am, moving the stuff over in the drawers and completely unpacking.
What's it like to be a female who has to be on TV and you're in the same spot for 14 days? Because, when I go to the Super Bowl for 8 and I'm a dude and I can just wear, T-shirts and shorts on and stuff, and I have, a gigantic 80-pound suitcase with me.
Yeah.
So, how much do you...
It's silly because, I came down here. The past 5 years, it's been hot. We come out here and you just sweat your brains out. And I got off the plane and I said, oh, my gosh, it's freezing. And I don't have anything for cold. So that's what it's like to be a chick. And plus, you've got to bring workout clothes. You got to bring your outfits for, on air, which is a disaster. Because don't forget the rain gear and the rain shoes. Because, yes, we get our fair share of wet weather out here, and the sports center gear and the gear after the game, and it's ridiculous. I'd rather be a guy and pack.
But then you have to bring your products too. You got to bring your hair dryer and all that other stuff, right?
Drama. I've got a system down that I bring the products that I definitely need, and then you didn't interrupt a massage, you interrupted the Target run because I'm on my way to go to Target to get the products that I can get there. The toothpaste, because I don't want to pack all that stuff.
That's smart.
Yeah, and then
so
you
buy
get the little ones. You don't have to get the full toothpaste. Just get the smaller ones. Get your own soaps and stuff, unless you want to smell like the Hilton soap. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you like to vary it up a little bit,
I always ask the front desk if they have toothpaste before I go out and get it.
Yeah, well,
it's a little trick. Sometimes they have it.
But do they really have the toothpaste with the tartar control and the whitening? Come on. If you're going to be here for 14 days, you might as well just get the right stuff. That's
true. And then you have your handlers, too, you got to worry about. How many people you're traveling with these days? 4?
Yeah, the entourage,
it's big now.
Duplicated. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I'm definitely me, myself, and I. Are you kidding? Myself and my Tempur-Pedic pillow.
Oh, you bring a pillow with you?
Well, I bring the smaller Tempur-Pedic. I have a bad neck and bad shoulders. It's because my posture absolutely is horrific. And the pillows at the hotel, while they may be good quality, by the time the 1700th person has slept in the bed, they've kind of gone down a little. Yeah. So I actually find the Tempur-Pedic pillow works pretty good. It stinks, though, because it's so small, and you can just leave it. I've left it in so many rental cars. I should probably buy stock in those pillows because I buy a lot of them.
It probably doesn't help your back and neck is your job because you have to stand. You're standing for 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yeah, you do. Well, here we get to sit a little more just because you can't stand. This is a cool experience for me because I'm in the dugouts with the teams. Obviously that doesn't happen in Major League Baseball. And you can go right up to the guys and just say, hey, what happened there? Or they'll always walk by you or something like that. But so you have to sit down a little bit, obviously, in the dugout. But yeah, for college football, I remember the one game we did, it was the Orange Bowl, Paterno, Bowden. How many overtimes? Was that 3 overtimes? Yeah, I was standing for 5, 6 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, football, I guess, would be the worst.
It is.
Because there's nowhere to sit.
Basketball, you're sitting.
Baseball, you're moving around, but you're mostly standing, right?
Or no? You're mostly mostly sitting. You're in the camera well with all the guys that hate that you're there, and they're always complaining that there's no, why is she in here? But yeah, I know you're sitting and you're hiding, and you're hoping you don't get hit by a foul ball.
I saw the Sunday night game, the first Sunday night game at Citi Field, the Mets game, and you went to all the different parts of the stadium.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I like that.
We walked our rear ends off in that game. I mean, we didn't stop. And plus, when we walked up to the nosebleed sections, I mean, that was a ridiculous amount of stairs. But it was good because I had this pork sandwich at the, eatery area, and I had eaten all the French fries, so it was good. I needed to get after it. Yeah, we were hoping to do that for Yankee Stadium as well, I think 2 weeks after, but we were canceled. We had a rain out.
Oh.
I know. I haven't even seen it yet.
You know what? See, if I was in charge of ESPN, I would have run the Citi Field game on regular ESPN, but then on ESPN Classic, that would have been the Erin Andrews feed of you just actually walking to all the different spots. I think that would have been fascinating.
Kind of like the behind-the-scenes thing.
Yeah, like a reality show almost.
Actually, that's a great idea. We did that. My very first college football game ever at ESPN was the behind-the-scenes show, where one channel you could see this and one channel you could see that, and they had, I think Jamie Little was following me around, and it was just whatever. I'm glad it was my first show because I had no idea what was going on anyways.
See, I would have given you a reality show already. I think your life's interesting.
What would you have called it?
Well, look at your life. You're a sideline reporter for the most part. You're traveling to all these. Well, you do some other stuff, but I mean that's your main job. But,
yeah.
You're going to all these different locations.
Yep.
You're basically dealing with men all the time in like kind of an unnatural, weird social interaction situation that is kind of fascinating. And you're basically living out of your suitcase, living out of hotel rooms.
Really?
What's your life like? No, what's your life like? I'd be fascinated by that. I'm tired of watching stuff. Like I was watching Kendra on E! The other night, which actually wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad. She's like a dumber, sluttier Jessica Simpson. But she, that was interesting to me, but I'd be more interested to not see somebody who buys a new house and buys a stripper pole. Like, how about a normal person in their 20s and what their life's like?
I would actually love people to kind of get an idea of what it's like behind the scenes, particularly the research and, just, watching how we interact with the coaches and the players and stuff like that. I think people would be really surprised.
Surprised in what way?
Maybe the amount of work and prep and how much on your feet you have to be. I'd love people at the same time, too, to also try to wear an IFB and get out, 15 seconds worth of information that really should be about 3 minutes. But then you got to listen to the producer. Also, make sure you're not getting run over by, an offensive lineman or something like that. And, I would love people to try to do 15 things at once. That's why I'm so ADD and speak so fast, because you try to get so much information and you have so much going on all the time.
Well, and you also have people talking to you from the stands and stuff, right?
Yeah, the good thing for me really, though, is I have, obviously an earpiece in one ear, and then the other ear, I'm so trying to get the scoop, and basically I'm a spy. I mean, I'm trying to get the dirt. I'm trying to lip read. I'm trying to, listen in on huddles and conversations and what trainers are trying to hide from me. It actually becomes kind of a fun game down there because a lot of trainers are on to me. They know exactly what I'm looking at. And then, the camera comes over and tries to get the shot. So 4 of them will stand around. I'm like, dude, I can see what's going on. I don't care. So it becomes kind of a fun game. And then, you got to listen to the guys in the booth as well because you have to know what they're talking about to see if any of the information that you're seeing will fit into the broadcast.
So you have to be a little devious.
Yes, you have to be very devious. I'm a spy. I'm a fly on the wall, basically. I think Craig James has called me that, or a little fly on the wall down there.
You should have a show, I'm telling you. So you were on the BS Report, I think, almost 2 years ago. And I think I haven't listened to that one, but I think one of the questions I asked you was like, what was the worst sideline experience you've had? Have you had anything in the last 2 years that topped it? Something that just went totally wrong? Nothing?
No, thankfully nothing. I mean, never say never, but nothing yet.
Nobody snapped at you?
Everybody always asks that. Like they always, and it's so, I'm like, what's going to happen? What's about to come? No, nothing really disastrous has happened yet. I mean, a lot was made of the whole Ray Maluga thing and stuff like that, but I don't think that was life-altering or anything.
Yeah, what was the thing that happened to you last year where some other journalist didn't like the outfit you were wearing? That turned into like a big deal
that
on the
wasn't
web.
very fun. That was a great ordeal to go through. Yeah.
That was stupid. I mean, seriously, find other stuff to write about.
It kind of opened Pandora's box, but
So
it was. I just wish he had come and maybe had spoken to me in person and maybe just seen that I wasn't what he was portraying me to be. That actually I'm a pretty fun person to be around. I think I'm professional. I think a lot of reasons why people like you, people like athletes and coaches and stuff want to talk to me, because it's not just so cut and dry. Okay, well, so what happened? Why'd you make an error? What was going on? You actually talk to them like they're a real person.
Well, it's kind of a no-win situation for you, because look at the society we live in now. You can't just turn off being a female. Obviously you're gonna wear certain clothes and you're gonna try to at least look a little bit presentable.
Well, yeah,
so
and
what do they expect?
The one example that came to me, I don't know, it was like an epiphany. No, it just came to me is that we have a ton of good-looking guys on our network, guys that really take pride in what they look like, and I know that they work out, and I know that they, have people that dress them, and nobody really kind of shoots them down because they take pride in what they look like. So why is it such a big deal if somebody wants to stay in shape, if she wants to look nice? And I don't get it. I don't know. I think I'm almost done fighting that whole battle.
Yeah,
I'm not going to win it anyways.
It's stupid. Yeah, exactly. Like if somebody spends $2,000 on a suit and then they go on SportsCenter and read
nobody
highlights.
Cares.
Yeah, nobody would even know that they did that. But
right.
And plus, let's say it's 87 degrees 2 days from now when you're doing the College World Series. What exactly are you supposed to wear that you're not sweating like a fiend the entire time you're on the air? I don't know.
A potato sack. I'm kidding.
Baby. What about this whole, we talked about this a little last time, this old school, new school thing with the reporters and the people who you got to be a traditional journalist and all that stuff. And how has that been going for you with the old guard?
In terms of what? What do you mean?
Well, with the old guard, how do you feel like you're fitting in?
I mean, I think I fit in. I think that everybody really kind of has their own style, whether it be female or male. I mean, Hannah Storm is a little different from, all the other broadcasters, and, Rachel Nichols has her style, and I think I have my style. I think Scott Van Pelt has his style, and Kirk Herbstreit and, Craig James, everybody, I don't know. I think, I just, what's silly to me and what's funny to me is I really do think that people are over it. I really don't think they really care too much about females being in sports, especially when they can talk the talk.
Yeah.
I think the only time it becomes a big deal is when somebody tries to make a name for themselves and goes after that person.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's you just basically described some people in the blogosphere. But I do think, for me, there's been little strides. Like Doris Burke, sole color analyst for NBA playoff games. That's a pretty big stride.
Job.
Yeah, and in fact, I think you make the case if you had a male college player who hadn't played, pro in the NBA and went on without the professional coach player chops, people would kind of be like, well, what the hell's going on here? But with her, nobody said a peep because she was good.
Oh, she can hold her own with anyone. She's amazing. But
I think the next step, in my opinion, is females on these shows where the people argue with each other, or even if you hosted PTI for a week.
But Jackie does that on Round the Table, or Round the Horn. Wow.
Round the Table.
Hello, Round the Horn.
Yeah, but it's different. What about if she was hosting PTI for a week? It's a little different animal.
Jackie could definitely do it.
Yeah. What about a show that had 3, female versions of sports reporters? Why hasn't that happened yet?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm putting you in a tough spot.
I just don't really think it's that big of, I don't know.
Oh, it's like baby steps.
Yeah, it is. It is, but it is. I agree. I guess I just don't think of things like that, not because it's well, why isn't it like this, and why aren't more women doing this? I mean, there's certainly areas in the industry that you'd like to see women continue to succeed in, but I guess my approach is I just don't sit there and go, why isn't this happening? I don't get that. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more female sports columnists, personally.
Columnists?
Yeah, columnists. I don't think there's
okay.
enough of them. And I think they have an interesting perspective on things.
Oh, I agree. No, absolutely.
I'm not sure why there's not more, because it's not like there are more male good writers than female writers. You would think it would be equal. And
a lot of it, too, may be that because there aren't really that many right now, that women in, college that are trying... Is your phone ringing while I'm doing this?
Yeah.
That is so rude.
That's a party foul. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot to unplug it.
No, I think that maybe when women are in college and they're studying to do this, they kind of just see women on SportsCenter, they see us on the sidelines. They don't really kind of look to do that because, like you just mentioned, there aren't many of them.
But you must hear from people who are like in college or just out of college, like, how did you get to where you are? Can you give me any advice?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what advice do you give them?
I tell them to read as much as they can. That's one of the pieces of advice my father gave me. It was just, you've got to read, and you've got to read more than just, about your college or about, the basketball team or the football team. You've got to read. You've got to be so well versed in everything. And, that's with my first job with an NHL team. I learned that right off the bat because I grew up in the South. I didn't know much about hockey because it was all college football. It was the religion. So it was a great way for me to learn, right away that you have to study your brains out because people are going to test you right away if you know this. It's kind of like baptism under fire.
It's funny. I give people the same advice, even though my job's different. I tell.
But you have to know what you're talking about, though. Everything with all sports.
But not just that. I think if you want to write for a living or you hope to write, I never understand why somebody could be like, yeah, I don't read that much. Or I don't read that many books. Like, you should be reading everything. Not just sports either. You should be reading all kinds of books, all kinds of different writers. That's always what I tell people.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, your thing's a little different, but it's basically the same premise.
No, it totally is. And I was stressed out with work one night, I remember, and my dad and I were actually in Boston, and I just was, kind of having a little bit of a meltdown, and he just turned off SportsCenter, he turned off ESPN. I said, what are you doing? And he goes, let's watch something else. You need to watch something else. I'm like, gosh, you're right. And we'll be sitting there watching CNN. I was like, Dad, I didn't even know this was happening. He's like, exactly. Turn the channel.
So what are you doing for Father's Day? You got something special planned from Omaha?
I know. I've got to get something together with my dad. Send him something. Obviously, I can't be with him, but we'll figure out something down the line where we'll have a little father-daughter trip together.
I like that you have the father-daughter thing because I hope, my daughter's only 4, but I would like to think that maybe she would like sports. I'm not going to force it on her, but if she does, I think that would be cool to have. It
wasn't forced on me. I mean, It was just something that he had on, and I just wanted to be around him. Yeah. So I would sit there, and I was like, Dad, who's that? That's Larry Bird. Dad, who's that? That's Magic Johnson. Dad, who's that big guy? That's Charles Barkley. Okay. So, I mean, it just became cool. And it was a way to just kind of, spend time with him.
Yeah, but, here's the crucial thing, though. You thought your dad was cool. I have to reach that point with my kids. I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if my daughter thinks I'm cool. I think she thinks I'm the guy who's in front of the computer and has his glasses on half the time. And I don't know. I got to work on that.
I think when you're 4, you think your dad's cool. I think
hope
when you're 12, 13, you struggle with that. But no, I don't know. I didn't. My dad has always been cool in my eyes. So, hey, don't try too hard. All right.
So
That's something girls don't like no matter what age they are. Just don't try too hard.
Yeah, I'm going to play hard to get. I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I'm trying to mentally torture. So how much traveling are you doing out of 52 weeks? How many weeks are you on the road?
Well, this summer has really kind of, and thankfully, been very calm. I, did the spelling bee, and then I was off for quite a bit, and which was very nice because I was very tired after college basketball. Because right after college football, you go right into college hoops. And it's just like, wow. I did a couple of opening days and then just really kind of laid low. And, so the summer's been great, but before we know it, August is going to be here. And basically from Wednesday to Sunday, you're on the road.
Does your schedule make it difficult to date?
I think it is you obviously can't do the weekend dates. You can't go out Friday night or Saturday night to a nice dinner. But I think you make it what it is. It is difficult, but at the same time, it's kind of a dream job, so you have to figure out how to have both.
So you're like Holly Hunter in broadcast news. You're devoted to your work.
I'm devoted to my work, but at the same time, I mean, I would be devoted. I'm devoted to having a life outside of work as well. I think you have to have a good balance of both, or you're going to go nuts. So
you have a boyfriend, and you love him. Is that what you're saying? You like somebody?
A social life or a personal life, yeah.
Is there somebody you like?
I just don't give up that information because it's the only thing I can control.
It's a good idea. I highly recommend that strategy.
Bloggers would just kill that, and I just don't want to let them. They're going to kill it regardless. They kill imaginary relationships that I have, I guess.
Well, you need that mystique, and here's why. Because
why? For a reality show?
Well, not only for your reality show. You got it. When you have the reality show, do what Lauren Conrad did, and don't let your boyfriend be on camera. That was smart.
Reggie Bush kind of did that too until this past season too with the Kardashians.
Yes,
he was very, very low key.
Whereas Hank Baskett came right out and within 15 minutes was involved. He went the other way.
Red half, yeah.
Yeah, he went the other way. Okay, so we have to launch this campaign. I like to use my powers in a benevolent way from time to time.
Okay.
You need to be on Dancing with the Stars. You've thrown it out there. I didn't feel like it made enough of a splash.
Are you kidding? I told one person in the media, and it was everywhere the next day.
Oh, it was everywhere? I wasn't aware of that. I thought it was a little somewhere, but not everywhere.
I don't know. Everybody started texting and calling, you're going to be on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, good. Well, let's get that ball rolling even further. Okay. So I think they start doing it. When do they do it? Is it like October? Or do they wait till January?
I can't do it this coming season. Because
so you can do it 2 seasons.
Yeah, because, I mean, I have college football. So I feel like the season that just passed with Sean Johnson, that may be doable.
And give us your credentials.
Well, Tom Bergeron was asked by somebody with the Washington Post, well, she's danced before. Yeah, but I haven't done ballroom dancing before. I've never done partner dancing before. I did grow up a dancer, but I haven't done it since I was in college. So that's been quite some time if you want to do the math. And, that's basically my credentials. I love Kenny. We all love Kenny Mayne. But come on. I mean, we got to represent the network somehow. That was crazy. What was he out was he the first contestant that was out the year?
He got bumped. He got bumped right away.
Yeah, unacceptable out of him.
I agree. And you need to end the curse because I think there's a curse and you're the one.
And don't you think that there could be a great segment made where Kenny just comes to a practice and kind of gives me all the do's and don'ts for not getting bumped on the first show?
Absolutely. Listen, there's no downside to this idea. You need to do this.
Be a downside if I get bumped in the first show.
No, you're not going to get bumped. Well, first of all, people are voting. You're the princess of the internet. People will be voting for you. People will work hard to keep you on the show. But talk about when you were in college. So you were, what was it called, a dazzler?
We were dazzlers.
For the Florida Gators.
Yep.
And you dazzled. You did dancing. You dazzled people to dancing.
Yeah.
So that wasn't that long ago.
Well, a little bit, but that's okay. We were the basketball dance team and did a little bit of football, but we were more or less the basketball dance team. Did the timeouts, did the halftime numbers, had a strong senior year when went to the national championship game against Michigan State. Tom Izzo actually has a photo of me screaming at Mo Pete under the basket, and he's pointing to the scoreboard. So that right then and there, you knew I was pretty passionate about sports. I definitely, I like to think I can.
Well,
who knows?
This all sounds good.
Okay. So how do you get this campaign going?
We're getting it going right now. Here's what we do.
I didn't know if you were like passing out stickers or buttons or making posters and stuff.
No, here's what we do. This is where the listeners come through. The people who know how to do HTML and all that stuff, they're going to start the campaign for you. They're going to start a blog, and I'm going to send them traffic. Whoever has the best blog, they're going to get the ball rolling. They're going to get people to sign up for it. You know what else might help is like a Twitter account.
I'm too afraid of that stuff.
Yeah, but you can control the Twitter account.
I don't want to deal with Twitter.
But if you did it for your campaign, it would be good.
But do I really want to have a campaign for myself?
Yes.
I feel like I'm kind of annoying already.
No, you got to do it. Here's the thing.
You just do my Twitter account.
Maybe we'll have somebody do it.
Do you have a Twitter account?
I do have a Twitter account.
How much do you update that thing? I don't even get it.
Here's the thing. I think what people originally thought Twitter was like, hey, I'm going to the gym, or just had a great workout,
Who
2
cares?
hours. Yeah, well, that's not really what Twitter is. Like, I use it, like I update, here's a link to my latest column. Here's a link to my podcast with Erin Andrews.
Right.
I'm watching the NBA Finals. I think of a couple things that I wouldn't be able to put in a column because the moment would have passed. So I'll put that on Twitter. Yeah.
What do I need Twitter for?
Well, you probably don't. Although I do think you would get a lot of followers.
Just got to Omaha, chilling, going to Target.
Like, lost in Omaha. I can't find my toothpaste. How dare Target doesn't have whitening with tartar?
Oh, they'll have it.
No, I think listen, there's no reason why you can't do it. It's ABC, owned by Disney, which also owns ESPN. The second season, which I think usually starts in like January to April, you're not doing stuff anyway, except for college hoops.
I am.
Yeah,
though.
But come on, you could take off 6 weeks for that.
On.
Here's my
job comes first, buddy.
No, but it's the same company. Like, it's a good thing for you to be on the show. It raises your profile. Here's the thing I'm worried about.
What are you worried about?
A lot of it depends on who your partner is.
Well, Tom Bergeron already said that if I was asked to do it would have to be a tall guy. I'm not a little girl. I'm 5'10", and
I was going to say
I'm
that
6 foot.
Because some of those guys are short.
Yeah.
And you can't end up with somebody so it looks like you're like Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, where the guy's wearing like 5-inch heels. But I don't think they would do that to me anyways.
There's no way. He has to be big enough to flip me.
Well, that's true. So it's got to be like one of those like Eastern European guys who's like 6'2".
Yeah, he definitely has to be over 6 foot. Hey, speaking of, actually, this has nothing to do with anything. Are we going to bring up the fact that you almost walked right past me at that at the ESPN magazine party?
I know. I already apologized though.
That was so weird.
Yeah, but I didn't. You were all dolled up. I wasn't used to. I'm used to seeing TV.
Up.
Yeah, you were. You were dolled up. You were wearing your little red carpet outfit, and you were like your hair was like professionally done. And I didn't realize it was you.
It really wasn't.
Well, and the other thing is you're much taller in person than I've only met you 2 or 3 times, but it's different. Seeing you in person is different because you're like almost eye level.
Everybody's so shocked about how tall I am.
Yeah. Well, it's always weird to meet a celebrity who's tall. Like, I remember even like when I met Tom Brady, who's the quarterback of the New England Patriots.
Is he tall?
Yeah, he's like 6'5". It's like, you're a giant.
Is he really? I never knew that.
Or even like I met Tony Parker once, or I was in the same room with him, I can't even remember, but he was taller than I was. And you think like Tony Parker, little tiny point guard in the Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I would have thought.
6'2". Yeah, he's 6'2".
Oh, wow.
So that but the combination of you being red carpet dolled up and the height threw me off. And
Are you going to be at the ESPYs?
I also had a few drinks in me. I mean, that was.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to mention that.
I'm going to be at the ESPYs, but
I'll
you're
be there.
You're in your red carpet outfit again.
I don't know about red carpet. Yeah, no, it'd definitely be red carpety.
Let's talk about the Red Sox really quick.
Okay.
How many games have you done?
I haven't. One of my games got rained out. It was opening day against the Rays.
So you haven't done one yet?
No.
So let's say you're doing a Sunday night game, Ortiz hits the game-winning homer, curtain call, that you have to do the interview.
Number 4 on the season?
Yeah, well, he's 3 homers, 3 curtain calls. He's on a strong pace. You're going to have to like give him a little bit of a hug, right? Or at least give one for me.
No, I can't give Papi a hug.
Oh, come on, you got to.
Absolutely not.
You got to give him you got to help him. We all need to help him. We need to help him through this.
I think
give him a
just
tap,
in baseball in general, I think baseball is better when Papi is, hitting them out of the yard. I just do. I mean, I don't think anyone, well, maybe the opposing pitcher, doesn't like to see Papi struggle. I mean, it's sad to see him all bummed out.
I think the Yankee fans would vehemently
I
disagree
agree.
with that statement.
You know what? Yankee fans, though, they still love David Ortiz. Don't you remember when he came out with that book? I mean, there were Yankee fans waiting in line. He was autographing it in New York, and there were still lines of people going to see him.
Yeah, he is lovable.
He is such a lovable guy for everyone in baseball. That's why I think it's almost like when you say, Nick Saban back in the SEC or Steve Spurrier back in college football. It's like you want David Ortiz to do well. I mean, I know Yankee fans don't, but you just do. He's a better guy for it. You want him to come up and be a threat at the plate. You don't want him to stink and people to walk him.
Yeah, it's sad watching the legends grow up.
It is.
I remember
like the Brett Favre stuff.
Well, I remember Larry Bird, his last year, he was running around with like a 30-pound back brace. He was basically totally upright because his back was in so much pain. It was just kind of sad.
It's very sad.
Anything else? Did I miss anything?
Happy Father's Day. What are you doing for Father's Day?
I'll be watching the U.S. Open with my dad.
Oh, that's
What's better than that? Yeah,
speaking of Father's Day, I
Yeah.
loved the article about taking your kid to the game to Fenway, and your dad's sitting there, and you're talking about, the World Series banners and all that stuff.
Oh, thank you. I
That's
appreciate that. Yeah, I've already, after swearing that I'd never forgive Manny, I've already completely forgiven him. And now I'm convinced that he's been framed.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that? What if Manny got framed?
Wow.
Could happen. Not ruling it out. But yeah, it's funny out here because everybody is
Where's
so
out
used.
here? Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Los Angeles, so it's like.
You are?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, stop. Yeah, I've been in Los Angeles forever.
Okay, great.
I watching the way everybody's dealt with Manny, because they always deal with freak shows out here and people who cheat to get ahead and all the plastic surgery and all that stuff. It's like rolled off everybody. I was like, what's the big deal? He cheated. They're all ready to
the day that broke was just like, everybody was texting everybody going, what?
I know.
It was crazy.
I know. Everybody thought he was too, I guess, not mentally competent enough to pull off performance-enhancing drugs. That was always the reason I never thought he would ever be able to do anything. It's just this guy was the most absent-minded athlete we've ever followed,
I think Mike Lowell had the best comment about it from any athlete or any person that discussed it, commentator, analyst. He said that it's just getting more and more upsetting for the youth that just love baseball, because who are they going to look up to? All their heroes are coming out to be just guys that are on steroids. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was a great line.
Well, I've had a couple of my friends have older kids, and they've had interesting conversations with the kids. Kids like, why isn't Manny playing? Well, Manny got suspended. Well, why did he get suspended? Well, he cheated. Well, why did he cheat? What did he do? And it's like, you don't think of it in that context, but when you're explaining it to an 8-year-old, it's conversations you never thought you would have. I certainly never thought I'd have them growing up.
Right, and I think what gets lost in all of the conversations, the fact this stuff will kill ya.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It just is like, well, it's bad to do. Why is it bad to do? Well, it just does bad things to your body. Like what? Like it'll kill ya. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah, and look at the WWE. Like, they have a guy that goes down every 2 months, basically.
Yeah, I feel like we forget that all the time when we do these stories about it. By the way, you basically are poisoning yourself, huh?
Yeah, it's not good. But out here in LA, they inject Botox in their face. They do the whole thing. So it's like no big deal for them. All right, Erin Andrews. So we will look for you on ESPN and ESPN2 and ESPN The Ocho and all the other ESPN channels
ESPN
on the College World Series. ESPN 360, that's right.
Oh, I don't know. I was just saying it.
No, I think it is on. College World Series. You're there in Omaha for 14 days. If you see her at Target, buy her some toothpaste, and we'll get the campaign rolling. Dancing with the Stars, January 2010. Erin Andrews, we're going to make it happen.
You're the president of my Twitter account.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Okay.
All right. Good luck in Omaha.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
All right.
We already talked to him 3 days ago, but I couldn't resist on the heels of the Erin Andrews interview, calling our friend JackO at work and taunting him about the Red Sox being up 2-0 in this Yankee Red Sox series.
Complex Litigation, this is John.
Oh, Johnny!
Oh, God.
Oh, Johnny.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Johnny. I just interviewed Erin Andrews.
Yeah.
And we had about 10 minutes left, so I thought I'd call you, see how you're doing after 2 straight losses at Fenway Park.
Just fantastic. Just grand.
How you feeling?
Not good at all.
Any thoughts on Shin-Ming Wang?
None that I could express in this forum.
Where'd you watch the 2 games?
I didn't watch them any place. I watched about a couple of minutes of Tuesday night's game. And then Wang was blowing up, so I said that was enough of that, and I was so disgusted, and I really feared for my health if I watched last night's game. I put it on for a minute, and it was... What was the score the first time I went on the game last night?
I bet it was a lot to a little.
Yeah, it may have been like 4-1. And then I put on the game last night again, and it was like 6-3. Actually, I'm sorry, Tuesday night's game I didn't really watch. I watched a minute of it, and it was like a blowout because Burnett blew up. Last night was Ching-Ming Wang, and I watched this. I put that on, and it was 4-1, and he was coming out of the game. with his head hung down, and I said, well, that's enough of that. And then I put it back on later, and it was 6-3, and I just gave up.
You sound like a mess.
It's awful, just awful.
Johnny, I got a question for you. Is this even a rivalry anymore? It's more of a feud.
It's not a rivalry. It used to never be a rivalry because the Yankees dominated, and now it's not a rivalry because the Red Sox have owned them for 5 years. I mean, on Francesa yesterday, driving home, a guy called in, and he was like, you know, it used to be that the Yankees went into Fenway or played the Red Sox, and they had a swagger, and they're like, we know we're going to win. Remember the famous quote when they played him in the playoffs in '99 or something, and Bernie Williams was like, wow, this Red Sox team with Pedro, they're good, and Yogi Berra came in, and he's like, we've been beating these guys for 85 years, and we'll beat them for 85 more.
Yeah, I didn't like that quote.
And Bernie Williams was like, hey, that's right, we have been beating him for 85 years, and then they promptly went out and did just that.
He can go to hell.
Now it's like the reverse, because, you know, for the last 5 years, the Yankees look like if they go in there, they're like lucky. You know, they're like, oh, hopefully we'll get something, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll win, but the Red Sox expect to win, and they do. So now it's awful. It's the worst development in the history of baseball, in my baseball life.
Do you think they should reshape the Cy Young Trophy into the image of Josh Beckett's face?
They probably should. And even Big Papi, I guess the shipment of HGH came in, especially for the Yankees.
So Johnny, come on. We're not supposed to cast suspicion.
Right, okay.
It's a big story right now.
What's that?
It's a big story right now. We're not supposed to throw that stuff out.
I'm sorry.
Some blogger impugned Raul Ibanez is on pace for 50 homers, and now it's like a big media controversy. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Sorry, I apologize.
No, I'm kidding.
Then.
Listen, I think all of your guys are on HGH.
There you
go. Tonight we have CC Sabathia, the $161 million national treasure,
right,
going against Brad Penny's dead body.
Exactly.
If you don't win this one, Johnny.
I mean, on paper, the matchup favors the Yankees, obviously, but until I see them actually win, I'm not going to believe it. I at this point, as I tweeted earlier, at this point, I'm just hoping for a rain out. That's what it's come to. I just hope it's rained out. I really do. I hope that it's lousy weather here in Connecticut. I only hope it's worse in Boston, and it gets rained out. That's all I can hope for at this point. That's what I've sunk to. That's what I've become.
Hoping for a rain out.
Yeah, that's what I hope, because then they won't play again until August, and I'll be able to get some sleep tonight, because I literally tossed and turned last night because I was so infuriated and angry.
Thoughts on Phil Hughes' mop-up performance?
Phil Hughes is decent. He's okay.
Yeah, 5 Ks.
This year. I never, ever want to see Ching-Ming Wang start another game unless it's for Taiwan in the World Baseball Classic. So I want Phil Hughes in the rotation desperately.
You know what's funny is they said he is not out of the rotation yet.
I know. Well, what they're hoping is that his next turn would be Tuesday against the Washington Nationals, which is kind of like a minor league stint anyway.
Yeah.
So they're hoping he'll go out there and dominate the Nationals and build up his confidence. I don't know why at this point. I mean, it's sad. I know he was good. He was their ace for 2 years, but whatever he did to his foot last year, he's done. He showed it in spring training. He's shown it in the major leagues repeatedly this year. So I don't know what else is left to prove. I'm sorry. It's thanks for the memories, Chin, and good luck in future projects.
Yeah, I'm going to say when you've started 5 games and you've given up a run and a half in every inning you've pitched for those 5 games, something's up.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's physical. I don't know if it's mental, and I don't care. I just don't want to see him anymore.
Can they sell him to Taiwan? Is there a Taiwan professional team he could play on?
Well, I mean, that's the thing I was reading online today in various New York papers, comments. People were like, let's just trade Wang. Oh, okay, yeah, right, because there's a high market for him now. Teams will be lining up. Right, absolutely.
You know what's sad is I actually would trade for him if I was like some small market team, like the Royals. I would trade for Ching-Ming Wang.
Is there somewhere with an Asian community and maybe he could be like a selling point, sell some tickets, you know?
The Giants,
Pacific
maybe.
Northwest?
But yeah, I mean, you'd think that would make a little more sense. National League would make a little more sense. Plus, if he was in the National League, we'd get to watch him bat and run.
Well, I was going to say, he'd probably veto any trade because he'd have to run. Exactly. It's just awful.
He broke his foot running? Was that what did he do?
I mean, it's just, as my wife will attest, we were out Tuesday night, and I was listening, and a friend of mine sent me a text message that just said "Big Papi!" exclamation point, exclamation point.
Yeah.
So I looked on my BlackBerry, and sure enough, it was 2-0. And so then we had gone out to run some errands, and I was driving home, and I put the game on the radio, and then it just quickly became 4-0. And I let fly with a series of profanity and obscenity that shocked and awed my wife and troubled her to no end. She looked at me like a science experiment, like she didn't know quite what to make of me and what she had gotten herself into by marrying me, because I was having like a Paul O'Neill meltdown while driving the car, like times 20.
I've seen you in that mode. Well, I've seen you in that mode, and it's frightening.
Yeah, she was really, really troubled by it, and then I was just like bummed out the rest of the night. I said, I wouldn't care if the Yankees lost every game of the year as long as they were competitive and beat the Red Sox. But it's the exact opposite this year. I mean, they go in there with the best record in the majors, and they've lost 8 games in a row now to the Red Sox, dating back to last year.
Oh, is that the figure? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that was going to come up later. I mean, the thing, I guess, that the silver lining in this is that they've lost 7 games to their blood rivals, and they're only a game out of first now. And they could be tied tonight if they win. I mean, and I don't understand. The Red Sox look like mediocre against everybody else. They're basically a 500 team, except for their 7 wins against the Yankees, who they have absolutely owned and dominated.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though: the Beckett's coming around.
Yeah, Beckett and Lester, and your bullpen is just much better. It's just much, much better.
And Ortiz has actually shown some semblance of life the last 2 weeks. He's not a complete car crash. I'm not saying he's Babe Ruth, but.
No, he's definitely shown signs. So
yeah, all we need him is to hit 220 and hit a home run once every 10 days, and we're fine.
I mean, hopefully Mike Lowell will break down as the season goes on, and Veritek, they won't keep up those numbers. I mean, your lineup is kind of pieced together with Scotch tape. Nancy Drew is good for his DL stint in a while. So
we're due for a couple trades, though. Johnny, go ahead.
Sorry, but the problem is, I mean, it doesn't matter how well the Yankees do because. I mean, if they meet in the postseason, they're gonna have to put me in a mental institution, keep me away from my BlackBerry and TV and radio while I bounce off the walls because I just can't. I have no confidence anymore. I'm just a shell.
Joe Mead, I wish we had a violin we could play right now, like the violin they would use for a Chris Connolly 2020 piece.
When we were out the other night on running our errands, excitingly, your book was there in paperback edition. So I was showing it to my wife, although she's seen the hard. I said, "Hey, look, Bill's book." So I was thumbing through it, and I came to the page where you talked about calling you before during the 2003 playoffs, and I said I'm a carcass right now, or whatever happens in Game 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
You were like, yeah, that's a good word, carcass, but he's not a carcass anymore, the bastard, because he won. Well, I'm a carcass again now, but this time I'm not a bastard because I'm not on the winning side. So
you're a cadaver.
I'm a cadaver now. I'm Big Papi.
Oh,
that's good. A little treacly music, fantastic.
John had felt sad after the 2 Red Sox wins. He wondered about the future of Chin Ming Wang and whether he'd ever pitch well again.
You should have saved the music for when I jump out of the window later tonight. You could have done this in the retrospective podcast.
That might have been Joe Mead's finest BS report moment, maybe ever.
Excellent work,
Top
Joe.
10 at least. Hey, Johnny, I'm on Wikipedia right now. And Lord knows they have some inaccuracies in Wikipedia.
Yes.
But the areas with high concentrations of Taiwanese immigrants. Greater Los Angeles.
Perfect. Plus, he's familiar with Joe Torre. He could go be a Dodger.
Well, I'm just throwing out the ones that have baseball teams. East Bay, so Oakland.
Nice. That's good.
Irvine and Central Orange County, which is a little bit near Anaheim.
All right.
Flushing, New York.
Hey, the Mets need a pitcher. That's perfect.
Rockville, Maryland, northwest of Washington, D.C.
Do you think the Mets would do a Santana for Wong trade straight up? Probably not, huh?
You'd have to throw in one more thing. Additionally, the northeastern suburbs of the Atlanta, Georgia area has also received a significant influx of residents.
That's good, the Braves.
And then that looks like it. The Braves kind of make sense, though, although he'd have to run.
Yeah, that's a problem. But they always have good prospects. Yeah, that's a problem when a professional athlete has problems running. That's not good.
I would say the Angels are your best bet.
The Angels. So who can we get back from the Angels?
Does it matter?
Not really, no. If we get anything, the old bag of balls would work.
The other thing is you have this loosey-goosey clubhouse now, and he's like the loner of loners. Maybe that's not helping. He's like Mark David Chapman.
I know, yeah. The Sports Illustrated article from like 2 years ago where it talked about, nobody on his team knew anything about him. They're like, I know he likes watches, but...
Yeah, that's right.
I saw something before the season started, or maybe it was early on in the season, and they had one of these features like when they were in spring training, and Sabathia and Jabba and Wong all went to like an Orlando Magic game together. So they were trying to like include him in things, but and he speaks English. I didn't realize he was talking and he was speaking in English. So
Nick Swisher tried to give him a nickname. He was calling him Chinny.
Yeah.
Didn't catch on.
No.
Or the Chin. Nah, didn't work either. Nick Swisher finally gave up after about 3 weeks. Even I can't crack this guy, guys. Yeah, it might be time for him to move on.
Yeah.
I also think at least Phil Hughes is racking up the Ks, and the one thing I've noticed with him is he does self-destruct when things start to go wrong, but that's something the more and more he pitches.
Yeah, he'll get beyond that. No, Phil Hughes is okay. I mean, he throws heat. I like that. He had a good relief performance against Tampa Bay on Monday night. They brought him in, and he was throwing gas, so I like that. And, he's competent out there, for a while. He sort of loses it, but he's competent for a few innings. It's like hopeful signs for the future. The one that bummed me, the thing that I just can't put my finger on, I don't understand for the life of me, is A.J. Burnett, like last year, and I understand it's the contract year thing and all that, but, I mean, he was lights out against the Red Sox. He owned them, and they had the dreaded jinx in the paper the other day of saying he never had lost to the Red Sox in his career. Of course, there was an asterisk next to that because he blew a 6-0 lead in April, but he was fantastic against them his whole career. He puts on pinstripes, and he couldn't have been worse on Tuesday night. Couldn't have been worse.
I think he's kind of a mess psychologically, him and Sabathia, because they didn't realize when they signed with the Yankees that they were really signing with Coors Field.
Well, but
it was Mike Hampton all over again, basically.
Yeah, I know the balls are flying out, but I mean, they were playing that game at Fenway, though. So that's not really any excuse.
No, but I'm just saying he's a mess.
And this notion of Girardi's like, well, it's my fault because I juggled the rotation and he had an extra day's rest. I mean, you pitch, you're a pitcher. Should the extra day's rest really make that much difference? He was too strong. It screwed up his mechanics. Give me a freaking break.
The funniest thing is you always get mad when somebody's a slow starter.
Yeah.
Or when somebody can't handle getting an extra day's rest or whatever. You are more of a man of routine than anyone I've ever met in my life.
That's true, right. That's
you
true.
Can't coexist. Right. If we're on a road trip and it's like 9 a.m. and you just had coffee and we can't get to a bathroom, you're a freaking a sweating mess.
Yeah, it's true. I am a creature of routine, so I really shouldn't throw them under the bus for this because God knows I would be off if the plane didn't take off in time to get to Boston or something. So
you're like top 5 worst people to share a hotel room with.
Come on, that hurts.
Well, you wake up at first of all, you snore all night, and then you wake up at 7:22 in the morning, or whatever time you ritually wake up.
I know. Probably earlier than that, probably 6:30. I can't sleep late. I wish I could.
Then I'll roll over to see what time it is, and you're like, hey, what are you doing, breakfast?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, nah, I'm just actually looking at the time. I'm going to roll back over and sleep for 2 more hours. I'll see you in about 2 hours.
That's because you're laying there with all the blood on one side of your body, unconscious, and I've been awake for 2 hours trying, desperate to turn on the TV so I'm not staring at the ceiling. Yeah,
you always ask first. You always do you mind if I turn on SportsCenter? Of course I don't mind. I'm in a coma.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Just put it on.
They could have SportsCenter broadcasting live in the room and you wouldn't wake up.
Do you mind if I bring Trey Wiggle and Kenny Mayne in here to do SportsCenter? Go ahead. I'm going to roll over.
Do you mind if I sit on the Budweiser hot seat and answer a few questions? No, that'll be fun.
I'm going to drink an $8 water. All right, Johnny, so what are we ranking right now? It's only been 3 days since the last one.
Yeah, the 3 days ago I think I was a 2, and now I'm an 8. That's what happens when you lose twice to the Red Sox in embarrassing fashion.
I actually think you should be a bit higher because I will give you a little secret. When I was watching that game last night, 6-5, 7th inning, I feel guaranteed we win because we have better bullpen.
Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to. You have a better bullpen. Now the Yankees, maybe they'll make a trade or something. I don't know.
In the old days, especially late 90s, 5-5, 7th inning, 3-3, 8th inning, whatever. I was the Yankees would win. It was oh crap, we don't have as good of a whatever. And you would have all these random guys that, as it turned out, all of them did steroids. But
okay, all right, yeah, right.
But you always had a better bullpen, and now I think the roles have reversed. And actually, it started in 2004.
Yeah, I know. 2004 turned the whole world upside down. It's an awful circumstance.
Flash Gordon couldn't hold a lead.
Right.
Rivera couldn't hold Dave Roberts on first.
Couldn't throw a strike to Kevin Millar.
Couldn't throw a strike to Kevin Millar. Gave up that little single to Billy Miller.
Changed my whole life.
All right, Johnny. We'll talk to you next week. Hang in there.
Fantastic.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.
That concludes, ends, finishes, wraps up another BS report. With all the talk about baseball, the upcoming football season, and hockey playoffs, Bill Simmons neglected to mention something which frankly cannot go unstated. Okay, here goes. For a limited time, hurry into Subway and enjoy the new Tuscan Chicken Melt. Lovely seasoned chicken, melted bubbly cheese with olive vinaigrette, piled so high with the crisp veggies you love on your choice of freshly baked bread. All that deliciousness with 9 grams of fat. It's part of a fresh fit meal.